Oh, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking my video. In today's episode, what we're going to do is what we always do. First of all, with the black pieces, we play c6 because it is the easiest and best to learn opening, and there is a small chance that we go into the Caro-Kann. Before we go any further with the chess, I wanted to share something a little personal with you. My grandpa is 96 years old, it's close to 97. He still drives. He lives in Tucson, Arizona, and the last time I visited him, he gave me this iPod, and for a while, it just sat in my room because nobody has a charger for an iPod from 2005. Okay, that's 2005 this was released. And so I'm going to explain about the chess. Long story short, I bought the charger, I plugged it in, I tried it on, and it works. And I've got my room completely silent. Now listen to this. Can you hear it? I hope you can hear it. It might be super quiet, but it has that classic. We're going to lock my bishop on the outside of my pawn chain. We have to be slightly worried about his knight coming over here, so we're going to push this pawn. So we got a little hidey hole. It looks like he's playing the best moves. I mean, okay, maybe a3 wasn't the most pressing move. Now, I need to develop my pieces. I think I'm going to go for this pawn break. Yes, he has this check, but he already moved that bishop once. So he goes ahead and he captures, so we get to develop my bishop with tempo. Now, are we stepping back like this, or are we stepping back like this? Are we going to be a defensive bishop, or are we going to be an attackive bishop? Well, if we walk here, we kind of just walk right into this. If I walk here, I walk right into this as well. I choose this one for no real specific reason. I think then we develop our knight. We have developed all of our minor pieces. So has our opponent. It's looking like we're having a very, very balanced game of chess. So he wants to go for my bishop. Seeing as that if that capture happens and I take, my pawn structure gets ruined, I think I'm going to just step back. That also covers this square, but my queen needs to stay touching this knight because this bishop is actually a dastardly bishop. We don't like this bishop at all. All we've really got going for us is this knight is undefended. I mean, he's going to just jump into the position. I can kick him out essentially immediately. He can also pin, but I'm going to take this time to castle. So now if this does happen, I'm not pinned. So he trades it off. I guess, yes, now the knight can live here forever. I can threaten checkmate with ideas like this, of like capturing the bishop and then getting checkmate. So he wants to jump into position, attacking my pawn. I think we're just going to be unafraid and line this up. We let go of our knight over here. So now if his knight does move, a ruined pawn structure could be on the table. And so I'm gonna play some music. I've been experimenting. I don't want it to be too loud because I don't want it to be annoying, but I also don't want to get copyrights. So these knights are doing some stuff. If I jump forward, that kind of just allows this. But you know what? I can jump forward, threatening this, but more importantly, threatening that. So I think we're going to do this. We're confronting this knight. Essentially, he could jump into the position, but oh, by golly, that seems like a crazy move to me. Because we do have this. We have stuff going on over here. I mean, if we go back and he captures, I get this with check. He steps forward. I hit him with check again. He runs. I get him with check here. I think we're going to play this and just kind of hope that he captures it. Or you play that. That's actually very, very reasonable as well. Maybe I should have thought about my move for just a second longer. Such as, I could have attacked this, and if you take, I take, and I got a pawn in the center, then you take again. Okay, let's not dwell in the past of what could have been. So this knight in the middle of the board is kind of a problem for me. He can also just take this bishop. So sliding forward seems to make sense. Unfortunately, a single pawn stopped my 12 points of material reaching his king. So I think we're going to just go ahead and play here. He doesn't have a light squared bishop, so this light squared bishop is essentially applying a lot of pressure, and he is an unopposed piece. Okay, so he's going for the exact same thing. Look at what we've got going on here. This is a brutal game of chess if I've ever seen one. I think we might just have to shut the door on that. He can't jump in because we're covering it. So we hit him out, and he jumps back. Scary to play that move, but I think we're just going to go for it. Yeah. Yes, we are. Yep. We're going for it. 3 minutes and 30 seconds against 4 minutes. I got to start playing a little bit faster. Didn't even think about it for a second, but you think about your options forward, and then think about your options atrás. Okay? Because coming forward, you gotta really think about your moves moving forward. This pawn is hanging as well. So, dude, I might just grab this pawn and then run back here. That kind of opens up the file, but then I'm just up more material. I'm not super scared about this, so I think we're just going to come in. Now, take note. This is defended. The whole scary checkmate is defended. If a pawn push ever happens, we can kind of get in the way. And I think we just slide back here. We're covering this. It's a little bit sketchy. Like if he lines up for this, essentially we might have to like bring a rook. I mean, that's quite scary. That's quite scary because what's going to happen here is we're going to pile up on my weakness in the position. So this can't be a bad move. We're attacking the queen. The queen basically has to go back. And so, like I was saying, you got to think about your moves forward. And so he didn't think about his moves forward. This pawn all of a sudden becomes a little bit fragile. We can also just take this, but rule of the least active piece. Bishop active, queen active. This is like a defensive, keep me safe piece. So I think we're going to slide over here to defend this pawn so that we can capture this pawn because this pawn is pinned. Even though it's never mind, the rook is there. Regardless, still, rule of the least active piece. We need to get this dude doing something. And we've just got like a little slow conversion going on. He hung a knight. You hate to see it. I would have given him a take back if he asked for it. And the dude is from 2004. The iPod is from 2005. Okay, so he's really doubling up on this. We also... I mean, that hung this. That hung this, and then you're hanging this if you capture this. Then that fork, because now this rook is guarding that. Are you following me? I can grab here. If he grabs here, I grab this with check. So essentially, I can grab this. If he moves the king, then I still... No, then I just come back, and then this is defended twice. Correct? I mean, that rook was defending this pawn. So I think we're just going to grab this. Got to be really careful when you make a move like this. Like, what happens if he just decides to capture right now? Oh, what am I talking about? I explained that. It does this, and I win the queen. Sometimes I'm good at chess, but sometimes I'm not that good at chess. So we're getting fancy. And so essentially I have 2 pawns and a bishop. So what we need to be doing is operation trade everything. If we can trade these queens, I'm a happy boy. I'm an absolutely happy boy. I can also make some crazy threats. Coming back over could potentially make sense. But I actually have like a pretty solid like if you take note around my king, the light squares are weak, but he does not have a light squared bishop. I actually still do have one, so if I need to like be defensive with it. You guys seeing this? I got some code. I just pulled up some code. I promise I'm not cheating. I have no idea what that was. Okay. So he attacks the queen. This idea doesn't work. So running away is probably in the cards. I can also threaten, just get real active out here. Like I just get active. What are you going to do? Push forward? We kind of need to make the choice now of, are we going to be really trying to attack or defend? I mean, I can just come back, and that is a perfectly reasonable move to make, or I can just get active. But you know what? This move is safer. This move is safer. And we would love to get rid of this dark square bishop. The only real thing that he's got going for him is like this diagonal. I have no idea what that move seeked to accomplish other than getting out of the way of this bishop. kind of want to just reroute like this. Is that stupid? What if I just go for the pawn push? If you push forward, I push forward again. So boom, boom, boom. No more calculation. I've got 1 minute, but I get 5 seconds for each move. So that's an astoundingly large amount of time for somebody that plays a lot of bullet. That's actually a lie. I've been playing a lot more rapid recently. Okay, so this pawn capture absolutely is changing the position. I think bringing one of my active pieces forward. I come forward. If he hits me, I have this move, just getting on this rank. So we're going to take with this rook. Without any real calculation past that, I have this move, which is just a devastating, terrifying type move. Okay, so yes, you are attacking my rook. But where is the rook going to go? Where is the rook going to go, my friend? My rook is going to go here. That's where my rook is going to go. And then what are you going to do? How do you defend this? You don't. I'm just going to hit you with a check, or you're going to get absolutely obliterated. So even after this, I have 35 seconds. I need to shut up and just win this game of chess. I can also trade this off at will now, and then this remains an issue. So I can give this check, he moves, and then I capture here. Then he captures back. Then my bishop just becomes an absolute god. You have no way of getting rid of it. So once my rook arrives here, ooh boy, it's spicy indeed. Maybe something like this. Like he plays this and I capture. I don't know. I have no idea. Don't resign, though. Please don't resign, my friend. This is a resignable position. Your queen gets attacked. And as a consequence... Okay. I'm not going to think about that for a huge amount of time. We're going to just take that back. We step forward and defend that. Just miraculously. I've got this is defended. I can just push it forward. So we attack the pawn, but we also have the idea of just coming back. And if we come back and you relinquish the open file, I mean, I'm up a piece. He's got this. This passed pawn is actually a tad bit annoying. I'm threatening it. He can push it forward and push it forward to here, but it's not going any further than, even if he does get it to here and he gets it defended, I will cover this. Even if I need to, I'll just put it a piece, any piece. Okay, so he captures. I capture. He pushes forward. We get active with the queen. There's probably a million different ways to win this. Oh. Why am I playing? Why am I playing like it's bullet? He resigned. I thought I lost on time just somehow. That scared me. That made my heart jump. I'm not going to lie. I thought something happened. Okay. Pretty much what's going to happen here is this. You can't see my mouse, but I was like, or maybe you could. I don't know. I was really contemplating like, okay, we play this. I'm attacking this. Undefendable. And you can't push this. I'm just going to come back and take it. So if I play this move, it's over, bro. And this pawn is not scaring anybody. And to be completely fair with you, like the reason I played this king move is I can like boom, 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 boom. And what you doing, my friend? You're not going anywhere. And so I think I think it was a really high accurate game. Even that pawn capture made sense. All of this made sense. Best moves. These are all guaranteed best moves. Okay. This whole rook over here. Dude, I think my opponent made it easily. But we're going to play guess the accuracy. I think that's probably like a 93%. 93% because I think in this part right here, the king move, pawn move, I don't think those two moves made really any sense. I was probably supposed to be moving the queen. That's what the computer's going to be telling me. These two moves did nothing. So I think like 92% now. Okay, we're going to go check it with the computer, and I will see you over there. And here we are in the analysis. And I just want to let you know something about being a chess YouTuber. I just sat here for like 10 minutes explaining, and I didn't even press record. So got the iPod, so can't be upset all that much. But yeah, I definitely just wasted some time. But you know what? Now I can explain this game a little bit better than I could have 10 minutes ago. And so if we slide down, we take a look at the graph. The graph tells a tale of somebody that hung their knight and then got completely smoked. So I said 93%, and then I even toned it down to 92%. I played 95% accurate. Quite proud about that. Our opponent didn't make it too incredibly challenging. In this endgame, a lot of these moves were all winning. And then I think that missing 5%, there was a little inaccuracy, a little mistake going on earlier in the game that actually did matter. I will point them out to you. It was like kind of a positional tactic thingy. I don't know if that even made sense. And our opponent, some inaccuracies, some blunders, 87%. Let's hop into the game. I'm not here to waste your time. So this bishop coming out is not the best move, but it's my favorite move because literally we're going for this structure where this is the best move. We put all the pawns on light squares. If the light square bishop comes out, we trade it off. That's the opponent's best move, so they do play it quite a bit. If not, that's cool. We make a little hidey hole because what we want to do is develop this knight in a way that my bishop doesn't get trapped, okay? So we're pushing this pawn to have a little hidey hole. That's what I call it. This little luft. And so right now, this isn't a threat because the queen sees that square, but once I develop my knight, I no longer see that square, and this becomes a real idea, and losing my bishop would suck. It would suck a lot. And so, like I said, now I developed the knight. So this makes sense all of a sudden because my queen does not see that square. That's one thing you gotta take note. If the knight is not developed, the queen will see this square. But when he's developed, he's not, okay? That's how chess works, okay? So we go for a pawn push. The only reason I go for this is because capture, capture, and now I got a piece developed. I'm ready to castle. Piece developed kind of with authority, with purpose. He's developed with purpose of recapturing a pawn. I guess that's how you could describe that. Then we get some pieces developed, and this is no good. I have a -1, basically, 0.9, but I got a -1 advantage right now for the simple reason of this knight can jump in with a threat on this pawn. I'd have to step over and defend it. So that's no good. This knight is very well placed, definitely applying pressure to some of my stuff. Not only that, he's ready to hit me with this pin. And so a little bit back right here, I could have just taken the time to push forward. Yes, I'd lose the dark square bishop for the knight, but none of this nonsense would happen. So, and the reason I didn't want to push this pawn is I already pushed h6, and I don't want to also push a6 because that's a lot of pawn pushes on the side of the board. I mean, I guess I'd have a luft, whatever. I didn't want to play too many pawn moves because if you play a lot of pawn moves, you can lose an advantage very quickly. So we step back. Stepping back can also make you lose an advantage, as you see from the evaluation. So we can just tickle this guy right now. But let me explain this. If the knight comes in, this pawn is under attack, yes, and then it attacks my queen. If I jump forward, it doesn't work because the bishop comes in and attacks my knight because now that pawn that was defending my knight scooted up forward. It's an attacking a knight instead of defending my knight. And so it's not good because me taking your knight is not that scary. But when he takes my knight, it's with check and winning my rook. So it's real scary. And then not only that, if I capture and you capture, I got to move, then you capture, then I capture, then he takes his pawn. Or he could capture and I recapture, then he takes the pawn. That's probably the best computer line here. Boom, boom. I block like this. Let's play. Okay, yeah, it was the best computer line. I take back. Okay. We went far enough into it. Long story short, none of that happened. None of that happened. He brings the wrong piece. Inaccuracy, because there was this tactical idea of all of that. Then, another inaccuracy. He traded his light square bishop for my light square knight for no reason, okay? And so, I'm supposed to just take this. Don't love the looks of that. He's basically just going to get into my position with this. So, this move is an inaccuracy, but again, we're talking about less than 50% of a pawn. So, we are not talking about any large marbles over here. I like this because this is absolutely just scary, okay? He plays a move, I jump in, he takes, I take. He plays this move, he tickles my bishop, and now this is for sure a mistake, and I knew it in the game that this just wasn't a good move. I even think my words were, maybe I should have thought about that. But I go ahead and I play this. A little bit of hope chess, because sometimes people will say, oh, that ruins the pawn structure, and not only that, I got the light square bishop for my knight. That's great. And they forget that this is going to happen. So that was a little bit of hope chess. It's okay to do that in a situation where you're going from slightly winning to completely equal. It's worth it. You know what I mean? It's worth it. Like, if he doesn't see it, I'm really winning. And if not, then it's okay. It's still equal. So it's not the end of the world. So he didn't see it. And now I do something with my bishop again. That was my one and only, haha, gotcha attempt. So we kick the knight out. This knight cannot stay on this square in the middle of the position. Now, jumping into the position, you really think about your moves forward more than your moves backwards. Like, if you're making a move forward onto the enemy's side, think about it twice. If you're making a move back, okay, think about it still twice, but a quicker twice. He jumped to my side of the board. the majority of the squares on my side of the board, like if you just look at all of these squares on my side of the board, how many of them are attacked? We're not going to go through it, but like, bro, literally every single square is attacked on my side of the board. This one's not. Some over here. This one's not. Okay. You get the idea. If you're moving on to the opponent, and the same goes for the opponent, if we look at the opponent's side of the board, literally like every single square is being attacked. His is a little more holy than mine, but it was a long-winded analysis for don't hang your knight on the opponent's side of the board. Then we grab this pawn. It's not the best move, but you know what? Gosh darn it, I like it. Grabbing a pawn is always great. We move the bishop to a better square. This idea is never going to work, so now we step here. We attack the queen. We bring our least active piece. We kind of look at the position. This guy has a job. This guy has a job. This guy has a job. The queen kind of has a job. Even the pawns in the center kind of have a job. This guy did not have a job. He was unemployed, collecting unemployment checks, and now he's got a job. He's defending this pawn, prepping this pawn push. So, best move. Best move. If we let the computer think a little longer, I believe it suggests some other ideas. Even if it's not the best move, that's a fancy move. You got to admit it. Boom. We hang the queen because of the pin. That is a deep understanding of the game of chess right there. I hang my entire queen because it's pinned. Ooh, so good. So good at chess. For the sakes of grabbing a pawn, okay? We get out of there. Playing one of these moves, being more active, is what you want to do. But I looked at the clock and I said, dang, I have 2 minutes. Let's just play safe. I'm going to win if I just play safe. And so if I don't get completely smoked, I'm good to go. Now, what he needed to think about is, oh boy, the enemy's rook ending up on the 7th rank is always a very, very scary thing. You always got to be worried about rooks arriving on the 7th rank. I'm worried about rooks on the 7th rank, and he's worried about rooks on the 7th rank. Everybody that plays chess is worried about rooks on the 7th rank. Definitely 2 rooks on the 7th rank, and it's game over. If that happens, you resign. And so he attacks my rook, and he didn't even think for a second, where's the rook going to go? And I spent 30 seconds. I spent like 30 seconds explaining why this is a good move. Obviously, it's a good move. We're threatening this. And you basically cannot let that happen. And then not only that, like you got to capture. You got to capture. If you don't do that, you're just completely lost. I am attacking his rook, so he takes. I take with the pawn. He attacks this. We play the best move. He does not play the best move because he's not as good at chess as me. That's what I thought. We step back, and we are definitely we hung this pawn. He hung this pawn, but you know what? At this point, I am just trying to trade off the pieces. So trading the rooks is more important to me than winning this pawn. So, and it's a little bit complicated with this structure going on or whatever. My bishop is pinned, okay? So we step out, and like I wanted, he traded the rooks. If you're trying to win this game of chess, you don't trade the rooks, okay? You defend the pawn. That's probably what you do. You say, all right, my opponent has 40 seconds. Maybe they make a blunder. Let's just keep the powerful pieces on the board, not trade them off. Now all you have left is a bishop and a pawn, and I promise you they're not going to do any damage. He pushes. Now, this is where I start making moves that don't really make a lot of sense. I can just threaten checkmate. It's almost unavoidable immediately. It is. It's mate and 4. It's unavoidable. I just come into the position, and you're done. I'm looking at, like, literally your only defense. And this is, like, you can push and then push, but it's never actually going to promote. I can push this and defend. My queen's going to defend. I did not have to blockade this pawn with my queen. And that was really the idea. I didn't have an idea of coming into the position. I had an idea of like, I don't want that pawn pushing forward. And I wanted to deal with that with my king first. I literally for a moment, like looked at this position and was like, I'm doing this. That was my plan, to be straight up with you. Because I was worried about it, you know what I mean? But then I took a deep breath and I said, wait a minute, I have 5-second increment. I don't need to be scared of that. And so I realized that after I started making moves. So this is one of the best moves. This is not one of the best moves. I think this is where I was playing some not the most accurate moves, but you know what I mean? I gained some time from it. And then at this point, the opponent resigned. I literally was about to play this, and after this happens, you're getting mated no matter what you do. You step forward, check, you go here. I probably hit you with this pawn, and it's a pawn checkmate in the middle of the board. Unavoidable. Nothing you could do about it. That was an epic game of chess. I feel bad for our opponent. He did just hang a piece, and that's a bummer, but I got to show you how to play some tactics, how to play some opening, a little bit of a C6 action going on here on the Kip314 chess channel. If this was the first time watching one of my videos, let me know. Go ahead and put something in the comments, and then check out the iPod one last time. Maybe I'll show it on another video, but absolutely crazy this thing works. Thank you so much for watching my video. You guys are the best. Get better at chess. Keep playing chess, and I'm going to do the same. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.